Alright everyone, I know you didn't expect to be back so soon for another trial.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't want to be back so soon, but here I am.
Alright, may we please bring forward the defendant, Michael Afton.
Ugh, why am I here? I've done nothing wrong.
Calm down. The last thing we need is a scene.
Mr. Afton, do you really think you did nothing wrong? Because newsflash, being some twisted form of a vigilante does not save you from the law.
Hey everyone, calm down. I need to read the charges first before we proceed. The defendant, Michael Afton, is charged with arson, trespassing, identity theft, abuse of a corpse, destruction of private property, and most egregious of all, first-degree murder.
Holy shit. Your Honor, this is unfair. I was not informed of the murder charge before the case. This is entirely wrong, and you know it.
Listen, I know this isn't by the book, but the justice system is kind of a mess, so let's just move on.
It doesn't even matter anyway. He's getting locked away just like his father.
You don't get it. I don't even like my father.
Do you not like him enough to kill him?
Mr. Sandwichley, do not speak to my clients like that again.
Your Honor, may I begin my opening statement?
Yes, you may.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video where we put Michael Afton on trial. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video where we put William Afton on trial, you can click on that in the top right corner. Now, Michael Afton is facing a long list of charges today and is at risk of meeting his dear old dad in jail. So, let's start with the first charge, trespassing. Now, it is well documented that Michael Afton worked in a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria in 1987, and in this restaurant, he was working as the night guard. He was in charge of overseeing the restaurant while it was closed. However, one night in particular, Michael showed up while the place was closed, and I even have a phone call from his employer.
Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while.
You see, Mr. Afton, it seems like you were not supposed to be at this location at this time. You were told by your employer that the place was supposed to be closed and you were not supposed to be there, yet you remained. You used some of the restaurant's power while you were there, and with all my legal knowledge, I would state that you were trespassing upon Fazbear Entertainment property, and you're lucky to not be charged with breaking and entering as I assumed the location was locked.
I didn't break anything, you goofy sandwich. As an employee, I had a...
Hey, what are you doing? Let me do the talking. Sandwichley, I knew you would pull something like this. So, why don't I play the rest of the phone call that you chose to leave out?
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night.
You see, my client was verbally told by his boss that he could remain at the location.
Well, that doesn't excuse the fact that he entered the premise illegally, and this also doesn't excuse the fact that he used the name Jeremy Fitzgerald, which doesn't belong to him. He signed himself up for a job using a name that doesn't belong to him. Any counters for this, Nick?
As a matter of fact, I have the ultimate counter. Your Honor, Jeremy Fitzgerald is most renowned for being a stuntman for films and shows. I recently spoke with him and his team, and they have stated that they have no intention to press charges. This charge should be thrown out.
Interesting. Charge dismissed.
Alright, fine. However, that doesn't stop this trespassing charge. Also, since we are talking about Mr. Afton's time at Fazbear's, let's not forget his stint at the Freddy Fazbear's in the year 1993. Mr. Afton, I have records showing that you worked there approximately for a week and that you were fired due to your tampering with the animatronics' odor and general unprofessionalism. While I can't help you with your, general unprofessionalism, I will state that your tampering with the animatronics and odor is quite interesting. I'd like to remind our viewers and the jury that Michael's father, William, was recently prosecuted by myself and found guilty of the murder of 5 children and stuffing their bodies into these animatronic suits. Now, we know the murders took place before this job in 1993. So, if Mr. Afton was found to be messing with the company property and the animatronics, we can assume that Mr. Afton interacted with the bodies inside the suits, the dead children. We know that the decay of a corpse can lead to a very unpleasant odor, and if Michael was touching the animatronics, it could cause him to smell unpleasant because he was interacting with the corpses of the children. You, Michael Afton, may be the real villain. Not only did you touch the corpses of these dead children, but you did not report them to the authorities, and I would not doubt that you did this in some sick, perverted way of defending your father, William.
I need order within this court. Everybody, calm down.
Your Honor, the end to that was entirely unnecessary and is misleading in its entirety. While the notice does state that my client was fired for tampering with the animatronics, as it says, I would like to point out that within the Fazbear restaurant, the animatronics have a tendency to move at night. According to Fazbear Entertainment, it had to do with their servos not locking up and ensuring proper function. Mr. Afton was doing what he believed to be a respectful thing by taking the animatronics and placing them on their proper stages. Nothing within the Fazbear employee manual states anything against this. Also, concerning your point about his odor, Mr. Afton had a recent issue with an animatronic that was trying to physically replace his insides and use him as a skin suit, so he struggles with body odor from that. This has nothing to do with any murders, as you mentioned so dramatically, by the way.
Yes? I understand. Very interesting. I have a question for Mr. Afton. I have just received new evidence concerning a second firing and hiring at the Fazbear's location in 1987. Does the name Fritz Smith sound familiar to you at all?
Yes, that was the name I used when I worked there.
No, what are you doing? I said let me do the talking. You don't realize what you just did.
Oh, I got you. You see this pink slip that Michael Afton has just admitted to being his own? This must be the biggest coincidence ever, or I stand by my point that Michael Afton was indeed working to cover up his father's crimes. In both locations, he did the same thing, and both times it led to him getting fired.
All right, I think we've covered this. Let's talk about the arson charge.
I'm so glad that you brought this up, Your Honor. You see, in 2023, Mr. Afton has been found to have burned down the location. As we all know, William Afton was spring-locked and left locked up in a back room for approximately 30 years. When a group aiming to create a Fazbear-themed horror attraction found him, they brought him to their location. Our viewers may find it interesting to hear that Michael Afton was working at the location as a night guard. He was in charge of overseeing the location at night. Michael worked at this location for approximately 5 days before the location was burned down. Now, this was initially reported to be the result of faulty wiring, but as the investigation continued, we learned that the chance of this being the result of foul play was the likeliest. Michael Afton was the last one at the location.
Do you have any proof as to this? According to my records, the place was nowhere near up to code and was a ticking time bomb before something like this happened.
I have security cam footage of the restaurant that was thought to be lost. The footage shows Michael entering the restaurant with a lighter in hand. We know he's not a smoker, so what's the point of it, huh?
Your Honor, I have someone I would like to bring to the stand. Perhaps he could help clarify and clear some of this up.
Bring them in.
I would like to bring a majority owner of Fazbear Entertainment, Henry Emily.
Hello, Mr. Emily. Would you mind stating your name for the jury and viewers?
Henry Emily. Nick said it. But I am a majority owner of Fazbear Entertainment.
Mr. Emily, I believe you had some things to say for the record and for our viewers.
I, Henry Emily, majority owner of Fazbear Entertainment and a representative of the company, drop the following charges against Michael Afton: trespassing, destruction of private property, and arson. I was the owner of the Fazbear Fries building, and I would not like to press charges against him.
Well, that changes a lot. Alright, so let me get this straight. The remaining charges include abuse of a corpse and first-degree murder, correct?
Yes, those are the charges that remain against Michael Afton. I'm kinda losing track as well.
Your Honor, I would like to point out that if the arson charge is dropped and my client is not found responsible for this, doesn't this mean he is free of the murder charge?
Oh, well, it seems so. Prosecutor, it seems the only charge left to pursue is the one pertaining to a corpse.
Your Honor, I think I've put my best foot forward pertaining to that charge. A lot has changed in the past few minutes, but this doesn't excuse the fact that Michael Afton did not report any of this to the authorities. We would have been able to track down and hand out proper punishment to William Afton soon. Think of the families who would have benefited from having the murderer locked up sooner and having proper justice served. Aside from that, the viewers and jury may use the YouTube poll in my community tab to vote on whether Michael Afton is guilty or not.
Come on, everyone, listen to your heart. Deep down, you all know who's truly guilty, and it for sure isn't me.
Well, I think that is everything, Your Honor. Is there anything else I am missing?
I believe we are all set. We will leave the ultimate decision up to the poll, and the jury can make an informed decision. Thank you to everyone who was a part of this. You are all dismissed.
Wait a minute, Your Honor. Oh, Nick, how smart you must have felt. I bet you think you really did something, didn't you? Well, you fell for my trap. There's one man that I have a very difficult time getting a hold of. You see, up until this point, I thought he's dead. As a matter of fact, the state records state that Henry Emily is dead. Oh, but he's not. He's here in this courtroom. Officers, please arrest Mr. Emily.
What? Why? I haven't done anything.
Oh, really? Well, I have it on good authority that you are the man who enabled the murders William Afton committed. And in your blind rage, you didn't let the legal system handle this murder, but instead, you took things into your own hands. Oh, Mr. Emily, did you really think I was going for Michael Afton on this one? I was always aiming for you. I just needed Mr. Carlson to bring you out of hiding.
Wait, what just happened?